Well, hello, this is Peter Combs from Bidamount.com and P.L. Combs Asian Art here in Gloucester, Massachusetts. And today is Friday, December 7th, 2018. And one thing I wanted to mention right off the bat, I did not get around to doing the, as promised, I wanted to do it, the auction results sale from Hong Kong a few weeks ago. I came down with bronchitis over the weekend. This is my first day back to work since I did my last video. I was pretty much out. We did manage to get the page updates done in the morning. I did them from home, but it was a brutal case of bronchitis. It's better drinking gallons of tea and so forth and feeling much better. But it was pretty wicked. All righty, and now we're going to get on to what happened last week. One of the things I did want to mention was that we've changed the layout on the eBay Today page, which a lot of people use because it's basically, this is a lot of the stuff in here is core stuff that we end up putting into the newsletter. Some of it isn't, some of it's just other stuff, but a lot of it is core stuff that we end up using in the newsletter at the end of the week if it isn't closed out. But it also shows things that we didn't get into the newsletter because they didn't come onto our radar screen for some reason, or they listed later and they were shorter term auctions and weren't up on Friday when we did our picks. But here they are. Okay, there's usually anywhere from 100 to 150 things that we put on here every day. We update the page every single day, start fresh, and see what's on. Okay, so you might find that helpful, trying to find things. All righty, and now we're going to move over to here. This was one of the pieces that was up last week. This was a rather interesting Femme Bowl with this noir, nice black band running around it. Here's another shot of it here, and it was posted as a late 18th, early 19th century bowl. I think it's probably an 18th century bowl, judging by the decoration. Could possibly be early 18th, early 19th, but I don't think so. And it went very well. It brought $778. The seller had it listed 18th to 19th century, so I guess he was having the same conundrum I would have had on the date, because everybody's going to disagree about things like that. But it's a nice looking bowl, beautiful bowl, and beautifully done. All right, and then on to this. This was something that I think was a relative bargain. This was a 6-inch wide Kangxi period clobber ware bowl. And the mistake the seller made here was that he didn't list it as being clobbered. And there are clobber ware collectors out there specifically. And this was quite a nice one, especially I loved the interior of it. Here's how they did the inside of it with these sort of draped swags floating around with these flowers. I loved the symmetry of it. And nice gilt, lots of gilt decoration, iron red and so forth. And here's a picture of the bottom of it. Clearly a Kangxi, and somewhat of an early Kangxi bowl. A nice one, all right. And look at that, it went for $158, very reasonable. That was a real bargain, I think, because it was in good condition overall. It was in very good condition. All right, and then on to this Kangxi, sort of a double neck or double ring affair or triple ring vase, beautifully done. I like the cafe au lait. I like the cafe au lait pieces on Kangxi when they add that as trim and decoration. And this is sort of interesting how they included the banding here. Very typical of these pieces. Here's the picture of the bottom of it. Nice example. Good decoration up all the way up. Okay. And it did pretty well. It brought $1,225. Nice looking vase. And then on to this. This was another Kangxi example. Probably Kangxi. This cracked ice pattern. It's a well-known pattern, but nicely potted. It had a hairline in the neck, but the shape was quite well done. This nice swollen upper body and these roux heads running around it and so forth. Here's a picture of the bottom. Nice, clean, crisp foot. It looks like a nice early foot to me. Here's another view of it here, right along there. A little bit of iron oxide showing. Had some sort of old collector number on the bottom of it. A lot of these things do. It doesn't always mean they're in a museum. A lot of private collectors use these numbers as well. Alrighty, and it brought $1,046. Not bad, and it had a pretty good hairline right in the neck. You can even see it here in this picture right here, coming down. All right, and I think had another issue somewhere too, but it still brought $1,000. And then onto this was this sort of New Year's jar, processional jar with a dragon, with the kids parading it around, and other animals. Here they have elephants up on sticks and so forth. And there's another kid they're carrying lanterns. really fun little jar. And I think this was a relative bargain. It looks like an early 20th, late 19th century jar. I didn't bother looking up the mark. And it only went for $243, okay? This, to me, looks like a relative bargain. It was interior star cracks, that kind of thing. 9 inches high without the cover. It's 12 inches high with the lid. And I think that was a great buy. Very colorful, a lot of bang for the buck. And if you agree with me, as I say in every video, leave a bid, for heaven's sakes. I would have thought at a glance that jar would have brought $450 to $500. All right. And then on to this is rather unusual little teapot. This is a nice one with a grisaille decoration. It's a latter 19th century one with immortals, and it's got the string holes on it here, so for carrying. See them here, okay. And the top of it has this very well-known sort of recessed saucer top with a small lid and a steam hole in it, but nicely decorated, okay. Here's a picture of the bottom. Pretty classic 1850 to 1870s pot. And it did pretty well, about $425. But for a teapot collector, that was a pretty interesting item because the form is quite unusual and the decoration was well done, okay. And now over to here, the robes. There were a couple of good robes up this week. Really good robes. This was one of them. Nice dragon robe. And again, as I mentioned last week, this is another one of these robes. I think somebody opened up Photoshop and made the pictures worse. Unless you're really good with Photoshop, don't sharpen, don't do many adjustments. Shoot the pictures right in the first go around, and then you don't have to go back and try to edit them, because you end up making it worse. And I think whoever did this made this worse, because this was a very nice robe, and it looks like it was over sharpened and messed with. All right, but it didn't seem to bother anybody. But when you're shooting pictures like robes and textiles, if they don't look right when you're taking the picture, retake it or get better lights. You can always take them outside in the sun. Nobody cares about the background too much as long as the light is good and you have a nice clear impression of what the piece is. Okay, that's the only thing people are really interested in. All right, and this was a nice robe, and I think it would have done better. And it still brought $8,600, but I think it might have brought another $3,000 or $4,000 had the pictures been better. And the same seller here. No, this is another seller. This is funny. They look like it was shot by the same people. Get this one. This is Antique Finder. And is this Antique Finder too? It's Handy's Antiques. That's curious. All right. Looks like they have the same floor. Okay. Staten Island, New York. Do a little detective. Media, Pennsylvania. Okay. They're not. They just both have parquet floors. I thought it was the same seller based on the background. Sorry. At any rate, it was this roundel robe. This was a really nice robe. I mentioned this last week. I thought it was terrific. To me, it looked like the sleeves had been shortened a bit up here, which often happens because they get worn and they cut them down. But this was a very good robe. Really good robe. Here's the interior of it. It was probably done about 1850 to 1870. Nice looking piece of silk, nice silk work on it, and it did fine. It brought last week, as I recall, it was at around 9,000 or 10,000. We did the video, and we speculated that it might go up another couple of thousand. It did. It went up basically another $3,000 to $12,800. Okay, but a similar robe with I think full sleeves sold for about $15,000 a few weeks ago at either Christie's or Bonham's or someplace. So, and I'm sure the buyer of this saw that. So, at any rate, there you go. All right, and then there was this. These are some plates that Scrap Dixon had up. And if you like early plates, late Ming plates, Carackware plates, this was an opportunity because these were real bargains. There were two of these plates with the pheasants on it. And look at this. It went for $190. I think that was a relative bargain. I think that was a very nice plate. Here's a picture of the back of it. Nice kiln grit. All right, nice size, and it was in good condition. All right, and there were several others, and they all went in this range. So, for heaven's sakes, if you see something and you're collecting something, mark it, stay with it, because I think that was a relative bargain. All right, and then you have these lime green planters. These were quite nice. Beautiful color, nicely enameled, late 19th century to early 20th century. Here's a picture of the bottoms, okay? They did these in this manner right into the 1920s, but they were very good quality. They still did them in a good way. All right, and this was one of them. Here's the Buddhist symbols, Buddhist wheel, and the banners and so forth. And it brought $3,800 right there. Okay, they had them listed as 19th century. I think personally they might have been a little bit later, but it doesn't really matter. This is what they bring. All right, and they're quite nice looking. Typically, the ones made in the 19th century of that quality have marks on them. All right, and now on to this was this Chinese export mug with the dragon handle. This was a bargain. This was if you like Chinese export mugs, this was a relative bargain. It had a hairline in the body, but it was a perfectly nice mug. All right, nice pattern, and it ended up going for just $81. Not bad. Did have a hairline in it, but I don't think that was a bad price for that, because you're not going to drink out of it. You're buying these because you like the style and the model, and if you don't have this particular one, there's a way to fill a gap in your collection without spending $400. And then on to this. This was another plate that Scrap Dixon had up. This nice Kangxi plate with these very bright enamels running around it, and this very faint, soft cobalt blue field in the middle. And this was a nice dish. And I think it went also very reasonably, $190. All right. That was a good-looking plate. Very attractive. All right. And on to this silk painting. Early 20th century, late 19th, early 20th century silk painting, but a nice school of work here with butterflies and insects and so forth on this good heavy silk ground, but good detail, nice detail all the way around, good outlining, very typical of paintings done in the latter part of the 19th and early 20th century, and again on a nice heavy grade, somewhat commercial silk. But beautifully done, and it brought $636. Okay, that was a nice piece of art, and you could have the artist looked up to find out who it is, I suspect. Okay, or at least get the spelling on it anyway. All right, and this was something we found, and it was just marked as a famille rose thing. This was a Neue Straits pot to me, and I thought I was wondering how it would do, but this was a nice little jar, nice strong pink color with a peacock on it. And lo and behold, I don't know the last time, I think it was because he didn't describe it as Neue Straits, so it probably got missed. Antique Oriental wooden vase with wooden base. All right, it rhymed, but that was a terrible description. I feel bad for this guy. The first, I don't know if I ever mentioned this before, but the first four letters in your, first four words in your description are about 80% of the weight that eBay gives you as to search on your item. So antique Oriental vase with gave him nothing. Okay, that was a total wasted description. It should have said, Neue Straits Chinese jar, all right, or something. But antique Oriental and vase are almost worthless because you're already searching in the Chinese or Asian category. And some people consider using the word Oriental a little bit pejorative these days. At any rate, it went for just $55. All right, that was a steal. That was a great buy, okay? It's a picture of the bottom of it. All right, little orange peely, but nothing wrong with that. Early 20th century, late 19th, early 20th century Neue jar, okay? And now on to this, the pair of bronzes. This was another good pair of very nice late Yuan, early Ming bronzes, in a pair of them at that. It's 16 centimeters or roughly 8 inches tall, a little around there, 7 inches tall. And look at this. They went for $1,000, okay? That was a very good price for those. Not overpaid, not underpaid. But I liked those a lot with the spike grounds and all that business. And very nice, very nice. All right. And then on to here was this other bronze, which was this probably 18th century ewer, okay, sort of done on some based on some Middle Eastern metalwork. But I like the dragon handle on it and the open space. And here's a picture of the bottom of it. It did have a bend in it there, which could probably be heated up and fixed pretty easily. Probably got dropped. All right, and here's a side view of it. But the bronze had a nice surface on it. And it ended up selling for $677. UK Asian Art had this. This was a nice thing. And I suspect it might have been missing something up here at the top, some sort of plug, but I'm not sure. All right, and it looked like it was, though. All right, and then on over here to Catawiki. We go through a few of the things they had last week. One of them was this. It was this nice little tea set, 18th century Chinese export tea set with European figures. Okay, I don't really view this as a set. It's a nice looking teapot and it's a nice looking cup and saucer. To me, they don't look like they went together, but there's still a nice looking little ensemble. And I figure the teapot's probably worth the $479 that it went for. Here it is. Okay, nice looking little pot. And here's another view of it here. Okay. And it went for $479. So that's not bad. Not bad at all. All right. And then on to this, another 18th century, probably Yongchen period, pate pan or under tray, but nicely decorated. Very pretty, very prettily done. Well-shaped, nice-looking porcelain all the way around. Here's a close-up of it. There's a tiny bit of ware right there, if you can see that. Sometimes it's not hard to see unless you look closely. But overall, it was a nice example, okay? And it ended up going for $227, which is right about on the money for that. That was a nice thing. And these are just some of the things we had in the newsletter. And then on to here, there's this basket pattern, circa 1800, 1850 dish. Pretty well done. Let's take a look at the back of it here. Yeah, there we go. All right. I think this is a latter 19th century one rather than circa 1800, judging by the back of it. Yeah, I think it's the second half of the 19th century dish, but still a nice one. And it went for $107. And this pattern, as you know, is a very famous one. It was done in the Kangxi period in blue and white, and then later, and with Femme Aver, and then in the Yongchen period, and Femme Rose also continued on in the Qianlong period in Femme Rose with underglazed blue, and then into the 19th century in all manner of patterns. Okay. But this was a very well-known one. You could build a collection of this pattern, variations on it. But it was a nice one. It went for $107. Not bad. All right. And now we're going to hop over and take just a quick look at a few things that are coming up this week. This is one of the things that closes in the next day or so. Is this nice little Kangxi 100 objects pot. I like this a lot. It's missing its it would have had metal wire handles here, and they nearly always are missing. It's also missing its lid, but the decoration on this is quite nice. I like the pattern, and it's up to $207. It ends tomorrow. It ends Saturday, so you might want to check that out. And there's some other things, and this was that nice looking Qianlong barber bowl that we found. It was a good looking one, a nice sort of a stock pattern. This pattern turns up in France a lot for some reason over the years, it seems to me. I've seen it when I've been over there. I saw several sets of these. Whoops. Fire trucks coming by. All right. There they go. Busy day. This is sort of a popular pattern. When I was at the Drouot a number of years ago, I remember seeing in one of the rooms, I think they had 2 or 3 sets with variations of this pattern, but very similar. Okay. Very attractive, very pretty. And it went for $876. All righty. And then we're going to hop over here. Here are some of the things that are on Catawiki. There's a number of things on there this week. We had to do a little digging because the front end of it was more objects from other places. But this is one of the things that's on there right now is this nice Qianlong period cobalt blue export plate, but very good quality. This is one of those real high-end, high-quality examples that was done in sets, but beautifully painted, just beautifully painted. And it's just started. It's got 7 days to go. That'll be in the on their page this weekend. And then this nice little Femme Aver sugar pot Kangxi period. Here's a picture of the look at the top of it. But a good looking example, and nice and clean from what I can see all the way around. All right, there's the bottom of it. There we go. All right, looks like it has 2 nicks maybe on the lid. All right, yep. 2 chips off the lid. Okay, so you got to get those fixed, but still, it's a nice early pot, and we'll have other things up there, probably another 30 things. Alrighty, the cover later. Okay, they think the cover was maybe made later and added to it. All right, so it's a 1720 Kangxi pot. All right, so don't worry about the lid too much. All right, I'm not sure I agree with them on that, but that's okay. We'll leave that up to you. Alrighty. And that's it. And I'm getting back on my feet, and I apologize for not getting that thing done this week, but I was flat on my back for 3 days. Alrighty, drinking tea. But I'm back, and we'll get some things finished up for the day here and get the newsletter page updated. And then I'll see you all next week, and I apologize again for not getting everything done I'd hoped to this week. Alrighty. And good luck out there. If you haven't signed up for the newsletter yet, please do. And if you don't subscribe here yet on YouTube, I hope you do. And give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and we'll see you all next week. Hopefully we'll be back to normal. All right. Bye-bye.